Good morning and welcome to Sew Granny Sew for Make It Monday. Today we're going to be making a box quilt block. These are great for all ages. I am just separating out pieces here. So I cannot give you exact measurements on this as this is not my pattern. However, you can kind of look, and if you're used to making your own patterns, you can kind of guess. That's what I did. So as you can see, there's going to be pieces for the eyes and the nose in the dark green. The cheeks are the white. The base of the box is the green plaid, and the background will be the lighter cream colored. So that is the background. And these are the ears that we're putting on. And you'll put the square at the end of each one and you'll sew diagonally. Now you can mark these out on the cutting mat, with your ruler if you want with a pencil. I just eyeball it and it seems to turn out fine as long as I'm working with the smaller squares. So you'll go ahead and you'll sew down the center of that from corner to corner and the diagonal, like I said. Then once you get that one on, you'll put the other one on the other end, line them up. You do want those to be as close to perfect as possible. And then you'll sew that in the opposite direction. So now we've got the ears are attached. So now we'll move on to the eyes. So the darker green will be the eyes, and the little squares of the same size will be the outer part of the box head, farthest away from the eyes, towards the outside of the head. And we'll just sew those with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. My seam allowance was off on this. I found it, as long as I continue with that same seam allowance throughout the block, it was okay. If you're making a quilt out of it, of course, you'd want that same seam allowance throughout your quilt. So we'll just go ahead and attach that one, and then you want to make sure that you have them, well, they're square, so you'll be okay no matter which way you put them. But you do want to make sure that the eyes are in the right position on the bigger pieces when you attach those. So we'll chain stitch through these smaller pieces until we get them all. And I'm just finger pressing throughout all of this. You can bring it to your iron each time, but I just finger press to the darkest side. So this is the long part of the plaid will be the bridge of the nose, and of course the darker green will be the actual nose on it. So I just chain stitch along and remove the last piece on the chain as I go, so I can attach the next pieces to them. So that's the other eye set. So this is where you're going to make sure that you have them in the right position. So the first one doesn't matter, but once you start making these, you'll realize that the seam on one will go one way, the seam on the other will go the other way as you're sewing. So then we'll just set that one aside and we'll go ahead. Now this one we want to double check and make sure if that eye is going, if that's the bridge to the right side. So then we want the bridge to the left side on this one on the outside edge that we're sewing on. I hope that makes sense. So then we'll go ahead and we'll attach this eye set onto the nose set. So we want it opposite. So the plaid will go opposite sides. And of course the nose will be at the bottom and the eye at the top as you sew them together. And we're just taking 1/4 inch seams all the way throughout. And then we'll remove that other piece so we can attach it to that. Okay, so we have the eyes and the nose attached, along with the cheeks, of course. And then you'll have your solid piece of plaid that will be the forehead of the fox. So we'll go ahead and we'll attach that with a 1/4 inch seam. And then we'll refer back to the ears. So you want to cut those where you did the diagonal stitching. You want to cut those a 1/4 inch away. I know mine's a little bit bigger, but that's no concern. So you'll cut each side down and then you'll finger press those open. And then you'll take the part with the whitest, here shown is at the top left, that white part of the ear, and you'll have that side facing down towards the plaid that you just put on, and then you'll sew that one on with a 1/4 inch seam allowance again. And once we have that attached, we'll finger press that open, and then we need to put the bottom of the head on, but first we're going to make sure that it's squared off. So as you can see, on those sides, because my seams were off a little bit, so I just cut those down so they sat even. And then with this fabric, it's a directional fabric, so you want to make sure all your fabric in your box is going the same direction if you use that. So I was just very careful to make sure that all the direction went the same way as what I sewed the forehead on. So once again, we're just putting diagonal seams on here. These ones I probably should have marked off, but they did turn out okay. But you just draw corner to corner with your straight ruler. Draw a light line on the back of the square. That way when you sew it on, then it comes out to be a perfect line. So we'll trim those down a 1/4 inch again. We'll attach the second one the same way. Once again, making sure that the directional fabric is going the same way. So I have like little pinkish reddish flowers on mine, so we're just going to make sure that they're all going the same way. We'll just sew that on right down the center again. Trim that off to the 1/4 inch seam. Finger press it open, and then we will bring that over to the iron board and get it ironed up. So I got it ironed flat here, as you can see. And now if you want to frame it in, there's a few different ways. I tend to use the fabric I use for the eyes and nose, but you could go lighter if you'd like, or maybe you have a different fabric that you want to frame it in with. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, as it really helps our channel grow. Be sure to check out Sew Granny Sew for more ideas for quilt blocks. Thanks all. Have a good day.